How would I look as a Roman centurion?
Bull garden. All the plants in this area have a part of them that is edible.
Probably edible, but it didn't taste like anything good.
York is a historic city in northern England, which boasts a rich and diverse history spanning nearly 2 millennia. It was founded by the Romans in AD 71 as Ebucorum, which became a significant military base and later a provincial capital. After the Romans, York saw a succession of rulers, including the Anglo-Saxons, who called it Eoforwic, and then the Vikings, who renamed it Jorvik, making it a thriving trade hub. In the Georgian and Victorian eras, York evolved, while still preserving its historical charm. Today, it's known for its well-preserved medieval architecture, vibrant cultural scene, and significant historical landmarks, which makes it the popular tourist destination that it is today. It's my birthday, and I'm spending the day here in this beautiful city.
Walls are 700 years old, apparently. And just over here, you can see Barker Tower, which was originally built as a watchtower to prevent boats from entering without paying the toll. In the Victorian era, it was also used as a mortuary. Before this bridge was built, Lendal Bridge is the name, you would have to get a ferry just across this tiny little body of water. I imagine that was a bit of a nuisance. Still, boats operate. There's a rowing club here. And of course, for the tourists, such as myself, you can take city cruises. I think I'll take one later. I believe it's included in the York Pass that I paid for. I'm going to cross that bridge because that leads towards the main city. Out the York Museum Gardens. How beautiful. And I have them almost to myself because it's still really early. It's just before 9 AM, and being a Wednesday, there's not so many tourists and day trippers. I'd imagine this will still on a weekday get very busy midday. But for now, I get to enjoy this enchanting little piece of York to myself, pretty much. There's the odd person sitting around on benches. But yeah, not Alden Titchmarsh, but I do appreciate good foliage. See, these plants can only grow in shaded areas like this. It's the only part of the garden that you'll find them. And this is an example of some of the remains of Roman York. This tower was part of an old fortress, ancient, sold. How old exactly? I don't know, I'm not a historian. Does it say on here? 300 AD. It does. So yeah, this has been kicking about for quite some time. I like his hat. Even York has eccentrics, it's the UK after all. Of course there's a man with a old-timey firefighter helmet sat on the bench at 9 AM. Look at that. I'm always fascinated by squirrels. A squirrel and a pigeon coexisting peacefully. And my mind went to who would win in a fight between a squirrel and a pigeon. What do you think? The squirrel, I'd say, obviously takes it, but you never know. I've never seen them fight before. Probably the only person that's ever posited that question. The ruins we saw earlier, but up close. Bull garden. All the plants in this area have a part of them that is edible. It could be the leaves, the stems, the roots, the seeds, the fruits, or the flowers. Look at this little robin. Are you eating in the edible garden? Are you having an all-you-can-eat feast here? Edible garden. I wonder which parts are edible. Shall we give it a go? There's berries here. There's a berry. It's the edible garden, so this must be an edible berry. Not bad. Bit sour. I won't put them on a dessert out, but look at that. Breakfast. That Robin's like, hey, that's my breakfast, cunt. What else is edible? Let's have a proper feast. They said the leaves and stuff are edible, but none of this is taking my fancy. But they say it's edible, so I might have to give it a go. Are we eating a leaf? Let's eat a leaf. Probably edible, but it didn't taste like anything good. Oh, that's bitter. Need to find more berries. What else can we eat here? We're just guessing here, guys. Now that definitely got to be edible. It's like a pepper. Bit odd though. No, I think I'm just gonna stick with the berries. Or I might just buy breakfast actually. This edible garden is probably not the best place to eat in York. Maybe edible for birds. What the fuck am I doing? Spending my birthday eating fucking plants. Look at this beautiful mosaic made of various pebbles. It's dedicated to mines around the country. Well, we've got Derbyshire, Nottinghamshire, Lincolnshire. We've even got Yorkshire over here. York itself. Where's Rotherham? We've got Doncaster, we've got Sheffield. Where's Rotherham? What? You'll pay homage to Doncaster but not Rotherham. Disgraceful. Happy to chat bench. Sit here if you don't mind saying hello. No one's sat here. Probably one of the only benches in the park where no one's sat. England, ladies and gents. Most antisocial bastards. Look here, York Minster. Probably the most famous cathedral in the UK, and with good reason. It also houses a museum with many artefacts from York's storied history within. It's also notoriously expensive. Adult tickets start at £17. Most cathedrals let you in for free around the world, in my experience, but not here. However, it is included in my York pass. So let's go inside and make the most of that. Oh, York Minster. Incredible or what? Look at it. So included in my York Pass, I can go anywhere in the Minster, I can go into the crypt, I can go into the museum. I'm not allowed to scale the tower, apparently you need to book that separately. York is not cheap. Beautiful, but not cheap. It is what it is. We'll see if the tower's worth climbing. Maybe I'll book onto that separately while I'm here. I think you might have to do it as a part of a guided tour. Who's the chair for? It's massive. Probably the biggest cathedral I've ever been inside. And it just spans on for ages. Incredible. Hand's gone. This rather gruesome artifact is the Doomstone. Sounds pretty metal, doesn't it? Well, what it depicts is even more metal. These are lost souls being put into a boiling cauldron in hell. It survives from when this was a Norman minster. A long, long time ago. Christianity is brutal, isn't it? Anyway, this leaves the crypt. And here, some of the surviving tombs. Tomb of St. William, who was once the patron saint of York. I do love a good crypt. How's that for a mosaic? No, Bald and Bankrupt likes his Soviet mosaics, but I wonder what he'd reckon to this one. I rate it. I'm just in the museum underneath the Minster, which details the history of York. So what happened when the Romans invaded? They took around 12 years to take control of the majority of northern Britain, and they built this city. After a while, the Romans just kind of fucked off, at which point the Anglo-Saxons came, and the majority of people born here in England to less than native. So the majority of white British people have Anglo-Saxon heritage, but of course there's still a lot of them that have Roman heritage, and of course Celtic heritage. This is how I suppose we used to look, or the ladies used to look. It has a very interesting history. We weren't always the conquerors. We weren't always the evil ones who colonised the entire planet. No, at one point we were colonised by the Romans. They showed us how to do it. See, even though York is in my home county, I've only been once when I was a young child. I've passed through the train station many times, but never really thought to visit. I often neglect my own country when it comes to travelling. But beautiful city it is. And what a beautiful day as well. And here we have the bastard who conquered us originally. It's funny, we don't hold a grudge against the Roman Empire, chiefly because they no longer exist. Also because they brought many great things. It doesn't justify invading a country, of course, but would the city of York exist were it not for their invasions? Well, we'd have put something here, but it would have probably been far less impressive. I have to get a famous Yorkshire pudding wrap, definitely. Oh, you're not open? What time are you open? Alright. No worries. You're not open. Might have to come back for lunch. We're open in about half an hour, but you see, I really want to do this boat cruise that's included on my York Pass. So, yeah, I think I found lunch at least. See, for anyone who doesn't know, Yorkshire pudding is a sort of a batter that you just cook in the oven and it rises, and you'll have it with a roast dinner. But there's a recent emerging trend in the last 5 years or so of turning it into like a wrap and filling it with the usual meats and trimmings that you would have on a roast dinner. And apparently that's one of the best places to grab one. Just on time for the morning river cruise. I'm not sure it'll be the most riveting river cruise that I've ever been on. And it's also not the most glamorous of boats, but nonetheless, it's only an hour. Might see some good stuff. Let's give it a go. Now on board the cruise. Not a lot to see. I suppose it's not quite like taking a cruise in Budapest along the Danube River, but it's relaxing and the weather's good for it. And of course I brought a kind of Marks and Spencer's meal to enjoy for my first birthday drink. We'll be heading upstream towards a suburb called Clifton and then turning back around, going into the city. And I think I'm going to go ahead and try one of those Yorkshire pudding wraps. First time for me as well. Cheers.
Unsurprisingly, on the right-hand bank is Queenstone. Through the old warehouse that still survive here, the two large ones both converted into apartments. The smaller one on the end of the block was for many years.
After an hour, we're ready to dock. This is the most exciting and thrilling of boat journeys I've ever been on. Definitely not. But it was a good way to kill an hour, get away from the city for a bit. Not that I needed to get away from it, I'm enjoying my time there. But yeah, something a little different, and I enjoy my can of mojito. As I've now finished and I'm on my way to get the Yorkshire pudding, we come through probably the most famous and Instagrammable areas in York. Shambles. Very old-timey, very Harry Potter, right? Well, that's what draws in all the tourists. And of course, it's laden with souvenir shops, chocolate shops, fudge makers, and whatnot. It's not as impressive as it looks on pictures when the crowds are all out, but it's still nice to see. Definitely looks better when it's empty on the pictures you see online. I was going to get a Yorkie pud wrap from this place, but well, the lady says, sorry, we're currently doing an order of 32. There's a lot of Asian tourists in there. Yeah, I'm not waiting for 32 Yorkshire pudding wraps to be made before mine, so it looks like I'm going to have to make alternative dinner plans. I didn't get my Yorkie wrap, but come somewhere a little bit more fancy and probably a little bit more fitting for my birthday lunch. Got a little glass of Durango, some chili and orange wine. I'm waiting for 3 oysters to arrive, and then a beef tartare. Keeping it light but classy. So here I have my 3 Rockefeller oysters. Oysters that have actually been cooked, topped with garlic butter and some Parmigiano. First time having them like this, so let's give it a go. Usually I like them just classic raw style, but quite a lot going on in there. I don't know if I can take all this in one bite, but let's give it a go. It's got breadcrumbs, give it a little crunch. Parmigiano makes it a little sharp and salty. And then you've got the delicious beef tartare, a little bit of fresh bread. Just get that on there. Amazing, and it is just
It's so fresh. And the bread is warm. Amazing touch. Flavour of the mustard and the capers just complements the beef so well, and it's just nicely, finely chopped. I enjoyed the Rockefeller style oysters. I enjoyed the beef tartare, so I thought, you know what, why not add another course? So I've gone here for the fried cod cheek, which are like battered here, herb infused and nicely seasoned, and yeah, also like a lemon infused mayo. Let's crack one open and see what it's like. Wow. Pieces of cod that just flake apart inside and they look so succulent. Let's give it a dip. First bite. Such a Mediterranean flavour. Those herbs give it such a nice taste. The lemon mayo, it just like tastes with somewhere like Greece. And the cod. Tastes fresh.
Just like that, right here, go for it. Oh, perfect. No applause. My camera, wait for it. You've done the first job. I'm going to throw you these two. I'm doing feel for it. I'm going to try and catch it and start juggling. This is a very difficult trick for someone that I've never met. Record Cameron, you and me not there rehearsing. I'm really happy about that. 1, 2, 3, Cameron. My fault. I chose Cameron. And number 2. 1, 2. Right up to the little warm-up tricks. Right, yeah. On top of that unicycle blindfolded. Trick number 1 is called double spins. Twice as many spins. Twice as high. Twice as hard to do. And absolutely no applause. That wasn't my fault. The sun was in my eyes. I put grease up, try and make the fire as big as possible, and try and impress everybody. Apparently, size does matter. Big flames. Torch. Wait for it, let's all do it together. Torch balancing on the face. 1, 2.
Well, I'm here on a pretty typical square here in York. We have an old-fashioned carousel ride, horse carousels, and in front of us a unassuming pub. Well, looks can deceive. And inside this working pub lies an underground museum that is home to Roman baths from the ancient Roman occupation. And that's what we're going to check out. Here we are, in the ancient Roman baths. This was where the Roman soldiers who were occupying this place would enjoy some, leisure time in their baths. And yeah, this was like street level back then in 71 AD. Crazy to think, right? This is some of the only excavated remains of ancient Roman York. I think only 3% of it has been excavated altogether. It's pretty crazy when you think about it, right? Check it out. How would I look as a Roman centurion? So this right here would have actually been a steam room back then. where slaves would, you know, treat the Roman soldiers after a hard day of conquering Britain. Some more artifacts, some more of the Centurions' water battle as they conquered our land. Perhaps the UK's smallest museum. I'm sure there's smaller, but one of them. But also quite an interesting one. I was going to stop and have a pint at the pub, but their draft selection is shit, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to move on. Well, I'm currently sat next to an ancient Roman wall in York with a pint of cider. It's about as cultural as getting pissed can be.